Alright, hello everybody. So today I'm going to be showing you a replay from yesterday's daily NR tournament that is held by the Japanese NR community. And this is round 1 of the tournament where I played against Mr. Monochromatic, a longtime player of NR format. So I'm on the bottom and I'm running it back with insect mill is what I like to call it. And we open tier limits from early, Paleozoic, Dynamicious, Marella, and Small Scuffle. And my opponent is playing sort of a flip Shadow Chaos pile with Shadow Dragon, Star Seraph, Sinister Shadow Games, and 2 copies of Eternal Chaos. So we're going first, we're gonna normal summon the Merly. We do mill into a Paleo, so good for later. Set 4 and pass. They draw into a Subterra Succession, that's really good for them. End phase, we're gonna dump Marella. We're gonna use Marella to dump the Sulliek. Sulliek will grab us a Merly. We're gonna dump with Marella again. I'm guessing this is backup team. Yeah, it was backup team, okay. So backup team can set itself during the end phase. Also Small Scuffle here as well, set the Raikou. They are going to set the Falco. So pretty even game so far, both players sitting on a lot of advantage. We're gonna flip the Raikou, pop the back row, mill 3. We're gonna normal the Merly, mill 3 again, hit a Gokipo. Gokipo adds and summons the Sea Squatter. Link 2 now for Haggard Lizard. And just gonna straight off link into a Selene Snapper. So right here, because I know that I'm playing against some sort of flip deck, I was really afraid of Needle Sealing. And so I just wanted to go for the Selene Snapper. And I was hoping that they would flip up the Needle Sealing right now if they had it. And it would destroy my Merly, which would allow me to fusion summon with the Despia Comedy to summon a Proskenian and then go from there. Alright, they're gonna Sinister Shadow Games though. It flips up the Dragon. The Dragon then bounces the Selene Snapper. The Falco is gonna reset the Beast that they sent. Now XYZ summon for Mannequin Cat. Gonna go for battle, activate backup team, chain the Paleo for a little more damage. Also, I guess to just beat over the dragon, we draw and we find the Haveness, which I choose to keep in my hand. We're also gonna resummon their Falco with the Mannequin Cat, try to go for a summon. Let me remember what I was trying to summon here. Okay, yeah, with Mannequin Cat, because we put back the Comedy in our hand for Haveness, I was trying to summon a Comedy here. But they chained the Succession, which gets the Falco off the field, and if Mannequin Cat loses its target, it doesn't summon. We will chain the Paleo though to the Marella, or to the Succession. They add a Battle Fader as well with sending the Falco. Now XYZ summon for Herald. This is just to put tier elements back into the deck. Herald works really well to just restock the deck with tier element names because we want to hit them to fusion summon. They will activate Eternal Chaos now, which basically dumps a light and a dark monster. Draw into a Dynamicious. They're gonna flip up the Beast. We'll activate the Haveness. And dump the Gokipo, so pretty good. And they draw into the Needle Sealing. So we activated Gokipo, and it's probably gonna summon a normal insect monster and destroy the Beast. However, and so that is why they use the Succession. However, I wasn't really going to do that because Beast had already used its effect. I was mostly going to just search the Battle Wasp Arbalest, which would have for follow-up basically, or just something in hand to have a discard fodder for the Dinomicious. So now I search the Arbalest anyways because they don't have the beast anymore. The set pass, we activate Herald again, just shuffle back the last Havness. Just get as many tier elements monsters into the deck as possible. Normal summon the Arbalest, summon the Goki Pole. Link 2 for Haggard Lizard. Activate Goki Pole, add the Sea Squatter, summon the Sea Squatter. They will... So right here, they Dinomicious the Havness. And when they did this, I immediately knew that there was a needle ceiling in the back row. So they're gonna destroy the whole field. We do get to trigger the Arbalest here. The Arbalest, good thing about the Arbalest, and this is why I played 2 copies of it, is it can summon itself from the deck when it's destroyed. So really, really good card. And now in the battle phase, I try to hit in with Arbalest. They're going to Necro Gardna, negate the attack, but I'm gonna summon the Wisteria Voe as well to get in for more damage. And here I have 2 level 4 bodies, and what I'm afraid of is they have a succession in the back row that I can't contest, at least not right now. So they are effectively in the lead because they have that engine card. So I go for a desperation play and we summon the Wonky Quartet. Wonky's gonna activate and it hits 3 spells and traps, or 3 trap cards, right? So it only has 1 monster under it. It can only swap control if it has 4 or less monsters. And even if they hit 3 monsters next turn, I know that this Wonky is coming back to me. Which is actually a good thing, because since I'm on low resources, I want this Wonky on my side so that it can defend me against attacks and possibly dying. They draw the Star Seraph, the Wonky activates and hits 3 more spells and traps. So now I'm confident, okay, that I'm gonna send this Wonky back to the opponent. So I activate, we attach 1 monster, and at this point, this Wonky is really big. When this Wonky gets 5 monsters under it, it immediately blows up, and the player who controlled it at that time takes 400 damage for each material. So this is already up to like 4,400 damage, and me and my opponent are looking at each other and we realize that this Wonky is going to decide the game. Like, there's nothing we can really do. I am down to 10 cards in the deck, by the way, so that's another thing I was worried about. Like, I may just deck out before the Wonky even resolves. So standby phase now on the opponent. Wonky's gonna activate. They will activate the succession to thin out their deck even more of monsters because they don't want this Wonky blowing up. So they will send the Squamata, add the dragon, thin out even more. Wonky activates, hits 2 monsters, but it's still 4 monsters, so it will swap control. And now I'm worried because I do have some monsters left in the deck and this Wonky is ready to blow up. So here they just set pass, end phase. End phase now, listen. I knew that I have monsters in my deck, and this dice it comes in so clutch. It hits a 5 and we mill 4 monsters. It is so good. One of those monsters, by the way, is Goki Pole, which can get another monster out of the deck. We also mill a Havness, and I can trigger this Havness to Fusion Summon. However, the Tearlament Fusion Summon shuffles monsters back, and that is the last thing I want right now. And we also hit a Hollow. So I end up just using Goki Pole and using Hollow to mill even more. And my idea here is just to get to less than 2 cards in the deck, so that to decrease the chances of a Wonky hitting as much as possible. Right here, even in the end phase, I could have still activated the graveyard effect of Wisteria Voe to reset itself for resources, but then it would have shuffled back 2 monsters, and I don't want that. Right here in my deck, alright, I have 1 Merly and 2 back row. I know this because I was keeping track of everything. And we top deck the Merly, so now I know for a fact that my deck only has back row, which is the Wisteria and the Howl. And now the opponent has the Quartet again. I went down to 0 cards in deck, but thankfully I did have the Wisteria vote to shuffle back, and I do have more copies of it in the graveyard as well to keep me stocked up. The opponent is going to try to make some plays, but none of that really matters because this Wonky is too big now. So they activate the Wonky, add 3, they hit a monster, and that's game. So insane game. And this is why I love playing Wonky. Just it has its ability to warp the game around itself. And even in mill, like even if it didn't end the game, it still had so many cards under it that as a mill player, I would have still benefited long term because my whole deck would be in the graveyard anyways. So really good game, well played by Mano. This was my deck. I've posted this before on the channel, the same insect mill pile. Very good this format in my opinion. Especially just abusing Goki Pole with the Wisteria of Woe. It's not taking many tops, but I think to play at a high level, it's a decent deck. But it is difficult as well, so hopefully with the next ban list, we get one more copy of Havness back and we can run this deck at full power. My opponent's deck is basically playing Star Seraph, Shadow, basically a light and dark monster mix, trying to take advantage of Eternal Chaos to search these monsters, and the Shell of Chaos and the Court of Chaos to go for the Chaos Beast, which is like a nice engine. They're also benefiting off of cards like Needle Sealing and Torrential Tribute. So pretty interesting deck by the opponent as well. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to post more replays as well. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. And if you do like the videos, please make sure to actually, like the videos and subscribe as well if you want more content. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Adios.